Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm going to say before I even start reading this article that this is illegal, and don't let anyone in the media or the political class try to convince or tell you otherwise. When you agreed, when you signed up, when you hit I accept for the terms of service, whether you're talking about Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or Google, any of these platforms that you use in terms of social media, you agreed solely to your relationship between them and you. There was no pretense at the time or any time subsequent to your initial sign up. Even with some of the updates on those terms of service, you have never yet, and you know this to be true, agreed to allow all of these organizations or third parties to have full unfettered access to not just your data, but your pictures, videos, or other documentation that you provide on these social media platforms. Your relationship was between you and the social media platform. The fact that governments now have access to them and are using them for facial recognition software, crime prevention, or criminal investigations, that, like I said, and the fact that the government, see how sneaky that is, right? It was a private company that created this app, this database of those 3 billion plus pictures. That was it, Clearview AI. So it was a private company that, once again, illegally, I would say, and if you take this to court, it will be proved so. There needs to be a class action lawsuit against this Clearview AI, because no one gave Clearview AI permission to do this. So that's the first potentially illegal, although I would say is an illegal activity, or at least against anything that you've ever agreed to. But like I say, the fact that government now are the direct recipient and benefactor, and the only ones, that's the thing, this Clearview AI, think about it. Oh, a private corporation, right? Yeah, you could set it up as a private corporation. What's to prevent politicians or people who are former politicians or friends of politicians, right? Like I say, I'm not going to get into any big conspiratorial bullshit, but think about it. A private corporation, which, well, I mean, a corporation is an act of legislation created by government anyway, so, right? But has now sold or leases this app to nothing but law enforcement and governments around the world. And those governments and their law enforcement units, such as the RCMP here in Canada, are using that without the Canadian people ever knowing, or without you as the social media participant ever knowing that this was ever going to take place. Or it would ever, or your data, your photos would ever be used for stuff such as this. But government now is using those 3 billion pictures to supposedly solve crimes. And just like Vic Tays, that's the thing with these authoritarians. They always use the excuse, oh no, we're only going to use it for child exploitation or child pornography, right? But we've heard them already admit that no, they use it even for petty crimes. And if they're already doing that now, think about how much worse or how much more they're going to use it going forward. Headline out of CBC News, Politics, updated. RCMP says it will limit its use of facial recognition tech, but won't stop using it entirely. Mounties first denied using facial recognition technology, then said they had been using it for months. This being reported by Catherine Tunney, March 9th, 2020. So I mean, think about it. Already, the RCMP lied. They blatantly lied to the Canadian people and said, oh no, we're not using it. Then it turns out, probably because someone actually caught them with their pants down, where they've actually had to own up and admit to such. So first of all, you already know they're not in a position where you can trust them because they've already tried lying about using this technology. So that should already have you on heightened alert and very suspicious of what they're actually doing with this technology. The RCMP says it will now use Clearview AI only in very limited and specific circumstances, as concerns grow about the police force's use of the controversial facial recognition technology. Our review of the continued use of this technology, and particularly Clearview AI, is ongoing, said RCMP spokesperson Catherine Fortin in an email to CBC News today. In the interim, given the sensitivities surrounding facial recognition technology, we will only be using it in very limited and specific circumstances. The RCMP will only use facial recognition technology, including Clearview AI, in exigent circumstances for victim identification in child sexual exploitation investigations, or in circumstances where threat of life or grievous bodily harm may be imminent. Or at least that's what they're going to tell you, or at least that's what they're saying here. But as was clearly proven just a little while ago at the top of the article, well, they fucking lied the first time. What makes you think they're going to be honest about it now? Do you really want to put this much power in the hands of these liars? This corrupt organization? And then what? Oh, we're just going, oh yeah, just trust us, right? I mean, who would be so foolish or naive to do such? Sure shit ain't me. And I sure shit hope it's not you either. Like I say, what they're doing here is completely illegal and completely unconstitutional. And it needs to be taken up by the courts, although I don't even have any faith in the courts in this country, but at the very least, it will spark the imagination in the minds of the people and get this conversation started properly. Concerns about the software intensified earlier this year after a New York Times investigation revealed that the software had extracted more than 3 billion photos from public websites like Facebook and Instagram, turning them into a database used by more than 600 law enforcement agencies in the US, Canada, and elsewhere. Following reports the company's clients list had been hacked, the Mounties issued a statement at the end of last month confirming it had been using the technology for at least the previous 4 months, weeks after denying it. The force said its child exploitation unit has used the technology for about 4 months, resulting in the rescue of 2 children. At the time, it also acknowledged a few units in the RCMP are using the controversial tech to enhance criminal investigations. On Monday, a spokesperson said 6 trial licenses were used by RCMP units that focus on criminal investigations, which could refer to almost any section of the RCMP. These trial licenses were used to assess its potential for use in a criminal investigation or to help advance a criminal investigation, said 14 in an email to CBC News. Clearview AI's powerful technology can unearth items of personal information, including a person's name, phone number, address, or occupation, based on nothing more than a photo. NDP MP Charlie Angus repeated his call on Monday for the Liberal government to issue a moratorium on the commercial, private, and public sector use of Clearview AI in public spaces until the Privacy Commissioner finishes investigation into the company. During a news conference Monday, Angus said the technology is open to abuse. The potential for this technology to track our personal lives and our movements is positively dystopian, and we deserve basic protections from our government, he said. In the US, many municipalities are banning the use of facial recognition software like this. The Liberal government should follow suit, at least until we know for a fact that no laws in Canada have been breached. The Federal Office of the Privacy Commissioner opened an investigation into whether the Mounties' use of facial recognition software violates federal privacy law just over a week ago. That's happening as the House of Commons Access to Information, Privacy and Ethics Committee begins its own probe into the ramification of facial recognition technology. The RCMP said it will work with Federal Privacy Commissioner Daniel Therian on guidelines for the use of facial recognition technology under Canadian law. Public Safety Minister Bill Blair's office has said his department looks forward to seeing Therian's report. We are committed to protecting the rights of Canadians, including the right to privacy, said a ministry spokesperson in a statement last week. So anyways, folks, I don't know about you, but I don't trust any of these people. Not even the NDP guy, which sounds that at the very least he's given the right kind of rhetoric, right? But do I trust any of these politicians or the RCMP or any of these bureaucrats to protect our rights? Nope, because I know, I pay attention to their track record and their history. And no, I don't trust them for 1 minute. That's why the onus is on you as a Canadian to do what you need to do to send a real clear message to these people. Now, I'm not talking about violence here. I'm talking about, using means that are outside the scope of violence. No one is promoting violence here. There's all kinds of ways that you can show your dissatisfaction or push back against this stuff. Now, like I say, it's up to each and every one of us to vocalize. Like I say, we live in the age of information. In the digital realm of social media, use your voices. All your rulers have a way to get in contact with them, whether it's a phone number or online, or maybe they have their own Facebook page or Twitter accounts, right? Take advantage of using your voice to express not just your disappointment, but your absolute rejection of this kind of invasion into your privacy, of this kind of illegal activity that these people tried to keep hidden and obscured from your knowledge. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.